Hey guys, Jeremy Jacobowitz here from Brunch Boys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. It's lovely seeing your faces. This is all about my food adventures all over the world, but sometimes we like to tie in some camera adventures in with those food adventures, and that's exactly what we're doing today. So, if you missed it, I did a video maybe a month ago talking about how I bought my very first Apple iPhone. Right here, the Apple iPhone 12 Pro Max, and in that video, one thing I talked about was how excited I was for the ability to shoot Apple ProRaw, which is going to take the AI functions of an Apple camera that makes it so incredible, but also give it raw functions of being able to truly manipulate the photo and edit it in a better way. It took a month, but I updated my phone and Apple ProRaw is here. So here's what this video is going to be about. What I want to test out is, one, how the photos are to edit in Lightroom. Like, I want to be able to slap on my edit on there and have them come to life, which JPEG photos really don't do. Two, the dynamic range of the photos. Like, the idea of shooting raw is to give you that expanded dynamic range. How many stops above and how many stops below can these photos really hold up to? And then finally, how they compare to the Canon R5. Now listen, it's not a fair comparison at all. It shouldn't be, you know what I mean? But for me personally, the idea of being able to shoot raw on my phone is the idea that I won't necessarily always have to carry my camera with me if I feel like my phone is a little bit more manageable. If I could just sort of come close enough to taking the photos that I want to take. So that's a test. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go outside the Domino here in Williamsburg, get some beautiful photos there, go get some lunch, eat a little bit of food, take some photos there, and then we'll come back and we will compare. So what I'm gonna do is take all the photos on the main camera here on the iPhone. It's the equivalent to, I believe, 26 millimeters. So on the Canon R5, I have the 15 to 35 millimeter. I'm gonna keep that always on 26 millimeter and try and have these photos be as close to each other as I possibly can to have the best comparison. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do it. All right, so there are a lot of reasons why I like shooting out here. One, the proximity to my apartment is very nice, but two, there's just so many different colors and textures and really interesting shadows. Usually ends up getting some pretty cool photos. So it's kind of quiet. It's a very, very chilly day, but easier for me to take pics, so I'll take it. Okay, so I ended up at 12 chairs. If you watch my stories on Instagram, you see that I order in from 12 chairs 2 to 3 times a week. I usually get the Greek salad. It is delicious. Let it get a little baba ganoush. But as I'm recording this, it's still Hanukkah. It's almost towards the end of Hanukkah, and I have yet to have a latke. I know, sacrilege, literally. But they have latkes here, so I'm like, let me get my latke fill, and get some photos of that. Have a good lunch. It's also might be one of the last days where it's just warm enough to sit outside to eat at restaurants. I mean, it's chilly, but coffee helps. So. All right, all the photos are taken. It's finally time for the real fun stuff. I get to eat. So I got 3 different latkes. I got a traditional, just with some sour cream. I'm usually a person that goes sour cream and applesauce, but they don't really do applesauce here. They said that it's not an Israeli thing, and we're not an Israeli restaurant, so you know what? Totally fair. Let's try this one. There's so many different ways to do latke. What I always appreciate is nice, crispy on the outside, but still sort of like tender on the inside. Great texture in this one. Like, you can see the layers. All right, so then they take the normal latke, and then they brunchify it, which obviously I'm always cool with. So they added an egg and crispy bacon. Really love that extra creaminess, that extra fat from the yolk running all over. And then obviously more smoky, more salty flavors from bacon. That is a very good combo. All right, so then finally they do sweet potato latke. Totally different texture here. Super, super soft texture instead of like actually shredding it and doing it the same way. But looks good to me. I mean, if you guys watch my stories on Instagram, you see that I eat sweet potato a lot. This is really great. It has such a nice chew to it. Like a nice softness. Almost like a mochi softness. Really, really good. Finally feels like Hanukkah. Alright, so here's the game plan. I'll keep eating, go back, start editing the photos. I'll chit chat with you then. All right, so I'm back in the apartment. I'm unfrozen, and I spent the past hour going through all the photos and editing all the photos. And I have to say, I'm crazy impressed. I've never been able to take my LUT, add it to a photo from a camera, from a cell phone, and make it work at all. They just don't work on JPEGs. And you know, my last phone, the Samsung, you were able to shoot RAW, but because it didn't have the computational effects behind it, it was pretty much a waste because the photo was just destroyed. Working with these iPhone photos, it's incredible. You could pretty much do anything you want to them as if they were a raw photo. I was a little bit nervous when I popped it in because they don't look like a raw photo. They definitely have the contrast built in, they have some saturation built in. They're you know, the dynamic range is there. They don't look like they're totally lost like most raw photos. You got to pull them in a lot of directions. They're there for the most part, but what you are able to do with them is still very impressive. I think looking at the photos one by one, I tried to get very close as I could. Some of them are nearly identical. Some of them are off a little bit, just my edit was maybe a touch off on them. I think where you're seeing the biggest difference though is the blurry in the background and some bokeh stuff. Like even though the aperture on the iPhone is a 1.8 or something, it just can't compete with real glass. So if you're talking about, hey, is this going to replace my mirrorless camera, my DSLR, my big whatever? No, it will not take as good of a photo as your camera. You know, you're also looking at like, what do you want to do with those photos? If you do want to blow them out, do you want to print them? Like, do you want to zoom in a lot? There's a lot of restrictions. So am I going to throw my camera away because iPhone lets you shoot RAW now? No. But what I love is that I'm able to manipulate these photos and make them mine. You know, a big thing about being a photographer is like putting your own touch on them. And a lot of it comes down to your edit, your LUT, whatever. And when you can't manipulate your photos, you can't make it yours. So what I'm really excited about is, I could just be out with my phone, get a bunch of photos, very pretty, photo, you know, mirrorless DSLR level, maybe not, but very, very excellent photos, and then make them mine. I think that's the most exciting part. Now, going to this extra test that I did, I put exposure compensation +2, and it did exposure compensation -2 on the photo, and it brought them back to life perfectly, which I was super impressed by. Like, I that's what you're really looking for, is that dynamic range in there, is the detail in the highlights, it's the detail in the shadows to bring these photos back to life. And you were able to do it. I think what's interesting, something I thought about was like, you know, in the file itself, you're going to be able to manipulate those R5 files in a lot more ways beyond the plus and -2. But what you're not taking into effect is just why this Apple RAW is so special, is that it's already has all that dynamic range built into it because of the way it's putting the photo together. It can expose a photo way better automatically than your camera can. So it doesn't need to have all that crazy range. Even there's a photo of me that clearly missed the exposure. It was probably +2. Brought it down, fixed it in no time. Super, super easy. So really impressive. So then I had texted David the Unlocker. I don't know if you follow him, but he has an amazing tech channel here on YouTube, and we just always chat. I was like, hey, did you fuck with this yet? And he was asking questions. And one thing he wanted to know was, okay, but then, what's it like bringing in those same photos in JPEG? Does that work? So I brought in the +2 and -2 photo JPEG into Lightroom, copy and pasted from that RAW that I had already fixed, and the photo was destroyed, which tells me that you cannot edit those photos, which makes sense, but it was a very fair test to do. Is it really worth it? So I think for me, I'm blown away, super excited, like really, really cool that this is in my cell phone. This is why I bought the goddamn Apple iPhone Pro Max 12 was for this RAW capability. Now, for most people, there's no point to use it, honestly. These files are going to be bigger. You don't necessarily, the iPhone takes such amazing photos. It's doing all the computational stuff, so you don't have to edit a lot of stuff. It's not really going to screw up a photo. So you probably don't need to use it at all. But if you're a photographer like me, or you just want to have as much control as you can over these photos, I think it's amazing. I think Apple did a great job, and it's making me feel better about spending like $1,500 on the phone. But yeah, super impressive. Good job, Apple. Hope you guys like this video. If you did, hit the like button. That's always cool. Subscribe. I do a lot of food and camera stuff. If you're into those kind of things, comment below. Let me know what you thought about these photos. Is there that big of a difference? Can you even tell? Were you confused by either of them? Doesn't matter at all. I'll see you guys next time.